Let's get started with our first news. Tom Aspinall responded to Jon Jones today. And things are starting to get even more interesting between these two heavyweights, Jon, who's currently sidelined and enjoying retirement, or at least a break from active competition, posted an update on X that grabbed a lot of attention. He wrote, "Just wrapped up the biggest seminar in Phuket history. Half the crowd flew in from the UK. How wild is that? Massive shout out to my guy Tom for all the free promo. Couldn't have done it without you. Seriously, though I'm beyond grateful for this brand new UK following, you guys showed up with so much love and energy, and I felt every bit of it. Let's keep this momentum going. Make sure to sign that petition today. We're pushing 200K, how exciting." Now let's break that down for a second. Jon Jones just hosted a seminar in Phuket. And it wasn't just any seminar, it was reportedly the biggest one in the region's history. The fact that half the attendees came all the way from the UK is impressive, on its own. But Jon clearly credits Tom for that level of exposure. He calls out Tom by name, even thanking him for the so-called free promotion. It's a mixture of sarcasm and appreciation, typical of Jon's social media style. And then he talks about momentum, about keeping it going, about signing a petition. That petition, by the way, isn't something small. It's been rapidly gaining traction at the time of Jon's post. The petition had already passed 169,000 signatures. That's a huge number, especially for a niche MMA-related cause. It shows how invested fans are in this storyline and how much influence these fighters have outside the octagon. Now in response, Tom didn't hold back either. He kept it short, but his words carried weight. He replied, "My pleasure, Jon told you. I'm not glad you're enjoying retirement." That statement, mixed with a duck emoji, was both humble and snarky. Tom's comment addressed Jon's sarcasm directly, but without crossing any lines, he acknowledged the situation, threw in a little humor, and subtly reminded everyone that despite the ongoing back and forth, there's still respect between them, or at least no real hostility. But it didn't stop there. Jon wasn't done yet. He came back with a video, and it was labeled loud and clear. "Warning, explicit language," which means whatever was in that clip. It wasn't censored or filtered. It's the kind of message you post when you want to be absolutely clear about how you feel. No sugarcoating, just raw, unfiltered thoughts. So what does this all mean? Well, whether it's friendly banter, passive, aggressive digs, or genuine promotion, the interaction between Jon and Tom is fueling massive attention. Fans are watching closely. The petition's growing. The hype is real. Moving on to the second news. Michael Chandler recently opened up about his TKO loss to Paddy Pimblett in a revealing interview with MMA Junkie. The always honest Chandler didn't shy away from admitting what went wrong and how it all played out inside the octagon. He began by saying, "I feel like I couldn't get my rhythm, I couldn't get my range." Obviously, Paddy fights long. He fights with his chin way up in the AR, and he's pretty far away from you. He throws a lot of kicks to keep the distance. This is a classic challenge that many shorter, stockier fighters face when going up against someone with length and range. Like Paddy, Chandler was struggling to find the timing, the space, and the confidence to close the distance safely. And when you're in a high-level fight like that, a few missed moments of rhythm can cost you everything. He continued, "I felt like I was just kind of getting settled in. And obviously I took a knee to the face and then got taken down. And that was the end of it. It's the kind of thing that happens in MMA all the time. You're trying to find your groove and bam, one clean strike changes everything. In this case, it was a well-timed knee to the face, followed by a takedown. And just like that, the fight was over." Chandler added, "It's one of those deals where you learn. Hats off to Paddy. He had a great game plan, went out there and got the win. That's the kind of sportsmanship fans love to see." Despite the disappointment, Chandler gave full credit to Paddy for executing a smart and effective strategy. He didn't make excuses. He recognized that this is the nature of the game. Sometimes you're the hammer, other times you're the nail. Then Chandler gave an update on what's next for him. "Personally, I'm definitely going to take a little bit of time off. I'm going to take the summer off. I've already spoken to the UFC and said, hey, don't call me for any summer shows. I will show up. I will be a fan. I will do some appearances. I will be a part of the UFC brand, but I need to take a little bit of time and heal my body up. Then we'll see what's next." That's a smart move. He's been in some absolute wars over the years, and after a tough loss like this one, taking time off to let the mind and body recover is crucial. He wrapped up by saying, "There's obviously a ton of different names out there, ton of possibilities, and we'll see." So while this chapter didn't go his way, Chandler isn't done yet, the road ahead is still wide open, and with his mindset, don't be surprised if he comes back stronger than ever. Now to another news, Israel Adesanya recently shared his thoughts on Alex Pereira and his potential rematch with Magomed and Ankalaev, and Izzy made it clear that he believes Pereira can absolutely get the job done the second time around. Speaking on his YouTube channel, Adesanya said, "I'm so proud of the guy, what he's done, it's like I created a monster." That line alone says a lot. The respect between these two former rivals has clearly evolved into mutual admiration. Adesanya and Pereira shared one of the most intense rivalries in recent UFC history, both in kickboxing and MMA, and now Adesanya is cheering Pereira on as he continues to climb the ranks in a second weight class. Izzy continued, "He showed why he is who he is across two weight classes, and he's not wrong." Pereira's rise has been nothing short of incredible, from knocking out top contenders in middleweight to becoming champion in light heavyweight. He's shown that his power and precision translate to any division. His performance against Ankalaev was tough, no doubt. But Adesanya believes there's more to come. Izzy added, "I can't wait to see the next fight with him and Ankalaev again. I think it'll be another hard one, but I think he can get it done because it wasn't a complete washout for that fight." And that's a key point. The fight between Pereira and Ankalaev was competitive. It wasn't a one-sided domination. It was a tactical battle, and Pereira held his own against a tough and gritty opponent like Ankalaev, who's known for his wrestling and durability. The idea of a rematch is exciting, because fans know both men will bring even more intensity to the cage next time around. Adesanya finished his thoughts by saying, "He's exponentially getting better as well. That might be the most dangerous part about Pereira. He's not just a heavy-handed striker anymore. He's evolving, his takedown defense is improving, his footwork is sharper, and he's learning how to handle elite grapplers and wrestlers, something that was seen as a weakness earlier in his career. And when a guy with his power starts rounding out the rest of his game, it becomes a nightmare for anyone in the division." So whether or not that rematch gets booked soon, one thing is certain: Israel Adesanya sees greatness in Alex Pereira, and coming from a former champion and rival, that's a huge compliment. The storyline between Pereira and Ankalaev is far from over. If they meet again inside the octagon, fans can expect fireworks, and Adesanya believes this time Pereira walks out with his hand raised once again. Moving on again, Jon Jones has sparked a fresh wave of speculation and frustration after addressing questions about a potential fight with Tom Aspinall. But this time he's claiming there's a legal reason why he can't discuss it during a recent interaction with fans on social media. One person asked Jones directly, "When are you fighting Tom?" And instead of ignoring it or throwing shade, Jon gave a response that surprised a lot of people. He said, "UFC. I and Tom, we all got a lot of stuff happening behind the scenes. They're one of the biggest organizations in sports right now. Tom and I have agreed to wait for the UFC to make their announcements, so I can't talk about it." That statement immediately set off alarms across the MMA community. Fans and analysts started questioning what exactly is going on behind the scenes. And why is Jon Jones now saying he's legally not allowed to speak on it? The fact that he's saying he can't talk about the fight is very different from previous statements where Jones seemed to dismiss Tom as irrelevant or unworthy of a title shot. Now his tone has shifted, and he's suggesting that the fight is potentially in the works, but being kept under wraps for legal or contractual reasons. This new response gives weight to the idea that something major might be brewing, maybe a unification bout, maybe a co-main event under a bigger card, or maybe something even more strategic, like holding the fight for a blockbuster card. Later in the year, it also hints that Tom Aspinall and Jon Jones may have already had conversations or negotiations, and that the UFC is playing a tight game with how and when they choose to announce it. And let's not forget, Tom Aspinall has already said publicly that he's waiting and ready for the fight. He even responded to Jones's recent jabs with humor and class, reminding fans that he's not here to trash talk, but to prove himself as the real champion. Now, with Jones going quiet under legal instructions, it's clear that this situation is more complicated than it looks on the surface. Whether it's about contract details, timing, or UFC's promotional strategy, something is happening. The silence, the cryptic responses, and the sudden shift in tone from Jones, it all points to a possible announcement on the horizon. Until then, fans are left waiting and watching, because if the UFC is really cooking up a Tom Aspinall versus Jon Jones showdown behind closed doors, it could be one of the biggest heavyweight fights in recent memory. Now, let's talk about some heat in the lightweight division. Things are getting tense between Ilia Topuria and Arman Tsarukyan. And what makes this even crazier? They haven't even signed a contract to fight yet. Despite both fighters being born in Georgia, there is clearly no love lost between them. The tension is rising fast, and it's turning into one of the spiciest potential rivalries in the division. It all started after Ilia Topuria, known as El Matador, moved up to lightweight after capturing the featherweight belt. With the move, many fans began speculating about future matchups, and one of the first names